Hello and welcome to another V's Cards video. My name is Veronika Čuić. I'm an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia. In this video we're going to do an interactive wobbly card. I can't wait to show you this fun project. Okay, let's get started. The video is broken up into 3 parts and the first 2 parts will be very quick and then the third part is the actual project. I hope you enjoy it. As mentioned in my previous video, Celebration is a fabulous promotion that Stampin' Up is running at the moment. I'm using 2 Celebration items for this project, the stamp set Awesome Otters and the designer series paper Simply Marvellous. All of the products that I used for this project can be purchased in the Stampin' Up website, and if you are in Australia and you don't have a demonstrator, please choose me. I would love your business and appreciate you. Thanks so much. If you're new to Stampin' Up cling stamps, I'm going to show you a quick way of mounting the stamps and storing them as I do. There are other ways and I'll show you another alternative way in my next video. First up, I'm going to peel the backing of the stamp, then I'm going to get that picture and peel off the 2 halves, because they'll always have 2 halves on the side where you're meant to peel, and then I'm just going to match up the stamp and peel it off the image. So I'll just show you that again. Peeling the backing off, finding that 2-part section and peeling at the centre the 2 parts, and then lining up the stamp to the sticker and peeling off. I return all my mounted stamps back into the case, and it's great because when I turn it around I can see at the back that none of my stamps are missing. They are all included inside that case. Quick tip on keeping your stamps nice and safe. When you're peeling off your stamp, be very careful not to grab a small skinny piece of that stamp. Go for the angle where it's quite wide so that you are not going to damage your stamps in any way. This idea was not entirely mine. I was inspired by Akiko Sudano. I love the way she did the card front and I wanted to change it up a bit, and the wobble idea I learned several years ago. I never have, but I'm pretty sure you can purchase a wobble mechanism. I'm doing lots of stamping first on basic white cardstock, and then I'm going to colour it in and fussy cut around each image and die cut some of those shapes for the sentiments. There are 2 different tips on either end of the stamping blends. One is a brush tip and the other is a more fine tip. And to begin with, I am mainly using the fine tip to go around some of the edges, and then I'm using the brush tip for the inside part. I admit I'm not the best at colouring in, but I do enjoy it and I give it a go. I'm fine with fussy cutting, but I must admit that the otter was a bit of a challenge because of the furry lines on the edge of the actual image. Normally when I'm cutting an image I leave a thin white line around it, but in this case I went as close as I possibly could and I used a black marker to colour in any white bits on the edge. I'm experimenting on the size of the circle dies and just wondering which would best fit the otter. Now I'm contemplating a card-based colour and a background colour as well. I went with balmy blue cardstock and then I wanted to break it up with basic white cardstock just to make a thin border around it, and then use more of that beautiful marvellous paper that I got for free as a background, and just contrasting that with the pink and then the blue for the water. I realised later it made sense to save on the basic white cardstock by using a die to colour the inside, because I only really needed the outside as a border. So the negative piece, the piece I didn't need for the border, I used for the inside of the card as a card insert. To adhere the card pieces, I'm using my trusty multi-purpose liquid adhesive. It is my favourite adhesive and I use it a lot to put a card together. Now let's see this otter wobbling along. Isn't he cute? I love this interactive card. Time to decorate the inside of the card. I'm using another fun image from the same stamp set and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to colour that in. Alright, time to make the mechanism. First off, you'll need to start off with some circle cardstock. I've just used my retired 1-inch circle punch to punch those two out. And then I'm going to get a thin wire and I'm going to wind it around my Take Your Pick tool. It's the perfect circle size that will match that 1-inch punch, and it's smaller than the image itself or the otter itself, so it's going to be hidden away because it's going to be sitting behind the otter. All up, I've wound it about 2.5 times. The trickiest part, I think, is taping it onto the circle. So you'll need to tape the top end and the bottom end of the coil on the circle cardstock. The strongest adhesive tape I had was the tear and tape. I wish though that I had a strong tape that was just single-sided rather than double-sided. You will also need to add adhesive to the outside of that circle, so inside of that circle to attach it to the spiral wire and also outside to attach it to the card front on one end and the otter on the other. I ended up using my stationery tape to tape the wire to the two circles. I tried to press it down fairly tight to make sure that there was no air bubbles to keep the wire attached to the two circles. The last thing you want is for the mechanism to fall apart. The otter will stick out because of the spring, so consider giving the card to someone in person rather than mailing it. There is a chance that the wire can come out wonky, but if you press it tight on the envelope and keep the otter directly above the mechanism, it should be okay. I'm now adding some finishing touches to the card, a sentiment and possibly a party hat to go with the card, but not too much. I don't want to do overkill. Obviously the otter wobbly section of the card is the main feature. If you like this video, please take a moment to like it and also share with your crafty friends. If you're not yet a subscriber, I'd love new subscribers. Remember to click on the bell icon so that you can receive notifications for all my future videos. Thanks so much. To add a bit of bling, I'm adding polished dots to the card front. What's a card without bling, right? As a rule of thumb for decorating, go by odd numbers, and I think 3 is plenty for a card front. Thanks so much for watching. I hope I have inspired you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in my next videos. Until then, happy crafting.